Alrighty, shall we? Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Andrew Kirchhoff, and welcome to our Tuesday live stream for August 25th, 26th. Wow, that's hilarious. Yesterday, I messed the date up. Anyway, welcome. I've gone ahead and I've messed it up once again. It's August 26th, 2025. We're talking all things fantasy football. That's 2 days in a row where I messed up the date. I don't even know how that's possible, but we're here. We're answering all things fantasy football related. So if in fact you do have a question, make sure you type it in the live chat. If you want priority on the question because you want to get in here and get out as quickly as you can go ahead and send in a super chat. Regardless of how you send in your questions, make sure you include your scoring format first and foremost, standard, half PPR, full PPR. Additionally, on top of that, how many teams are in your league? Is it a keeper league, dynasty, redraft, tight end premium? The more context you provide, the easier it'll be for me to answer those questions. But we're going to be answering questions over the course of today's live stream. Also be conducting a couple mock drafts in which we'll be drafting with one another via Sleeper. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and stick around as we will be conducting that. I see many of birthday wishes. Thank you very much for those of you guys who have sent those in. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. But without further ado, I hope you guys, again, are doing well. Earlier today, we did drop a video in regards to my favorite picks going into this upcoming season. Obviously, it entails the likes of a Tyler Warren, a Chase Brown, and Alvin Kamara, players that I'm incredibly high on going into this upcoming season, along with many other. Yes, I had the Chase Brown conductor. Yes, thank you very much. But again, if you guys haven't checked out that video or yesterday's video in regards to sleepers that I really do enjoy drafting this season, be sure to check those out. Additionally, before we get into answering questions, for those of you who are trying to get my all-encompassing rankings, not only for the month of August for your upcoming draft, but additionally every week for the remainder of the season, be sure to check out Betr. Again, there's a link down in the description in order to get those rankings, which are by position, by tier, half PPR, full PPR, by, quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver, kicker, defense, and flex in a top 200 setting. And of course, Sunday morning rankings to help you set your lineups every single week. All you have to do is use code Andrew, make that first time deposit minimum of $10, and make that first time play minimum of $1, in which you are playing within the Betr Picks section. So picking more or less on a given player's stats, all that kind of jazz. And then you'll be on my email list. You'll be ready to go. More information down below. I greatly do appreciate it. And of course, the map to the right side of the screen determines your eligibility based on your location. But we'll talk about more about this later on in regards to some of the plays that we're making. Okay. I do see many of you in the live stream chat who have sent in questions. So let's go ahead and let's get right into it, shall we? Jimbo Fisher begins with a question that says, in a 6-point per passing touchdown league, Justin Fields, Bryce Young, or Michael Penix week 1 rest of season? In a 6-point per passing touchdown league, that's an actually very... Okay, Okay, so this is the way that I function in regards to quarterbacks that didn't play in year 1 very much and need to prove it to me in year 2. Michael Penix falls within the line, right? So Michael Penix, considering the offense that he is involved within, he's going to have to prove it to me. In comparison to J.J. McCarthy, who is incorporated within a far more advanced offense in terms of the weapons and the pieces that surround him and the scheme that is functioning, I trust him more than a Michael Penix. So of the 3 in a 6-point per passing touchdown format, I'd probably still lean towards Fields because of the incredibly high rushing upside. Bryce Young would probably be second, Penix third. But for week 1 in specific, looking at the matchups across the board, I probably end up going with Bryce Young there. Thank you very much. Fishing sends it a question. Fishing with Dondo says full PPR, 12 teams at the 7th spot, going to take St. Brown or Neighbors. Who do I take at 2.18? JT Bowers, Tyreek Hill was going top 5 before Tua's injury. Yeah, look, here's the thing. As of right now, considering the team that you're most likely going to construct here, in the second round, I think you meant 2.08 instead of the 2.18 because it is only a 12-team league. I would say it's probably in your best interest to get Jonathan Taylor in that second round with either St. Brown or Neighbors. I think there is inherent risk with the other two that is a little bit outside of my range. I think Bowers there is a little bit too... I mean, I guess it's justifiable. It wouldn't even be 2.8. I mean, I think the number that you put is just a little bit washed unless you've got some other format here. But I think JT's the play in that regard. Speak Your Piece sends in a question. Thank you very much, Speak Your Piece. Appreciate it. Says, should I trade DK for Pacheco? My running backs consist of CMC, Brees, Harvey, ETN, and JCM. My wide receivers are Lamb, London, JMO, Diggs, and Keenan Allen. I mean, this is the thing. I think it depends on how many wide receivers and flex you have in your league. Speak your piece. If you're going to be playing in a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex format, you can go with any trade you want because you've got depth across the board. Because Lamb and Lennon are going to start every week blind. So is CMC. So then the question remains, like, who are you going to rotate in at RB2? If you want to ensure that you have a stronger RB2 by granting yourself more depth, I think this trade is very functional, and I think it's perfectly fine. I have no issue going in this path. And it also depends on the scoring format. But again, if you're playing in a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex format, I don't mind the trade as of right now, just to kind of give yourself a little bit more potential there. Let's see here. Robert, I'm not sure what you're referring to, Robert Jameson. I see that in the live chat. If you want to go ahead and send me an email in regards to that so I can help you out, my email's down in the description of the video. So you can shoot me something over there and I can help you out with that. Thank you. It's just BT sends in a question. Thank you very much. Am I out of focus? I feels like I am out of focus. Hello? Wow, it's my mic that took focus, huh? Hello, microphone. No more focus for you, buddy. There it is. I was about to say, I was like, what the heck happened here? Classic. No problem. All right. Getting back to answering questions. My apologies. All right. It's just BT says, I traded Sutton and Pearsall for Achane. Now I have Bijan, Chase Brown, and him along with Josh Allen. We back. I mean, I think that's a fantastic trade. I have no issue with it under the assumption that, of course, you have enough wide receiver depth to survive a move like that. But again, those 3 being your 2 running backs and your flex for the remainder of the season is as strong as it could theoretically be as it stands. So, yeah, pretty strong. Let's see here. Shung sends in a question. Says in a 10-team full PPR, 2 running backs, 2 flex. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. What would the strategy be at the 1.10? In a full PPR at the 1.10 in a 10-team league, I'm going double wide receiver. Most likely going to pair up someone like, hopefully, your league mates take running back so that you can pair up Neighbors and Amon-Ra. In the event in which that is not available and potentially wide receivers are taken, then at that point, I'll take one of the available wide receivers in the form of Puka, Amon-Ra, and Neighbors, and I'll pair it up with CMC. That's what I would look for. Those are the 2 potential combos that I'm looking for. Even if it's like Puka and Neighbors or Amon-Ra and Puka on the turn, I'm looking for the double wide receiver in a 10-team full PPR. And then if not available, CMC along with one of those wide receivers would be pretty solid in my mind. Thank you. Okay, scrolling down here, we had a question. Let me see what the live chat has in store here. Ricky Sanchez in the chat was saying, in a full PPR 12-man league, Diggs or Downs? As of right now, I'm pretty sure Downs is dealing with a bit of a hamstring injury, so I'd rather just lean towards Diggs because I know he's going to be the number 1 of his offense. I know he's coming off of the injury, but we know what kind of talent he is. We're still unsure as to what the potential of a Daniel Jones-led offense is going to look like there. I know that Diggs is a sufficient enough wide receiver to be preferred between the 2. And then you had a question in terms of JCM, Warren, and the flex. As of right now, going into week 1, I wouldn't be starting my Washington Commanders running backs unless his name is Austin Eckler. That's the way that I'd go about it. I kind of want to see it before I can 100% blindly start it. Anonymous in the chat was saying, Andrew, pick DK or Travion Henderson. It depends on what you have on. Okay, so let me pull up my rankings, and I'll tell you where I have them ranked as it currently stands. Again, I have to update my rankings later tonight because I was waiting for all of the injury news / cuts to take place earlier today. Now that all that information is laid out, it'll make it a little bit of an easier process in terms of projecting all these players' stats out. If we're talking about like a half PPR in regards to DK or Travion Henderson, as it currently stands, okay, let's go find this. Perfect. Yeah. As it currently stands, I think it becomes a question of what do you have on roster? If you started with a RB hero and you're in round 5 and both of them are available, or you're on the turn of round 4, I think the idea of securing your second running back is probably in your best interest. Had you already selected 2 running backs up until then I think DK is probably the play there. I think it just becomes a matter because of how closely they are relative to one another, that it becomes a question of what do you need rather than who is the better of the 2, because they're relatively close. Alejandro sends in a super chat. Thank you very much. Says Pearsall for Ridley. Thoughts? Yeah, I'd rather have Ridley there. I mean, I have them incredibly closely ranked. I think I have them maybe 2 or 3 ranks separating one another. But as of right now, I'm perfectly fine with the idea of Ridley. I think Pearsall again. I'm all in. I've pushed my chips to the middle of the table. I'm all in on the Ricky Pearsall potential this season. I'm expecting top 24 potential. And hopefully he can deliver. And to be honest, I'm expecting the same for Ridley. Assuming they both can stay healthy, they should be very similar levels of production as the number ones of their offense. Personally, I might want the number one of the 49ers offense, but the history of success of rookie quarterbacks coming in as of late really does lend to Ridley's upside. So as of right now, Ridley's my highest rank between the two. We had a follow-up question. Let's see. From It's Just BT. He said Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf. And what is it? Garrett Wilson and DK and Tet Golden. I don't know what that question is. Those are your wide receivers. Okay, great. Fantastic. Yeah, you're set. But that is a great team. I don't mind moving Sutton and Pearsall there because you're fine. You can live with what you have with, Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, and then, of course, let Golden take a couple weeks on the bench. But then, of course, he's going to explode and have himself a pretty strong year here. Old Jay Running sends in a question. Jay, what's up, brother? Says, what would you do? What would I do without you? Nah, listen, you'll be fine. Full PPR rank. In order, Blue, Gordon, Braylon Allen, and Bigsby. Thanks. As of right now, in a full PPR scoring format, I think Blue has the highest upside of the bunch. So I'd probably go Blue 1, Bigsby 2, Braylon Allen 3, Gordon 4. That's the way that I go about it in a full PPR as it currently stands. Because I'm looking full season. I'm not looking into the short term. If we're thinking short term, right, it would launch someone like Ollie Gordon because of the obvious injury to Achane and Jalen Wright to the top of that conversation. It would launch Bigsby a little bit higher because, of course, there's the question as to whether he can be traded in the next 48 hours here or whether or not maybe ETN gets moved within that backfield. But I think Blue is the guy that I prefer because, again, I don't think Javonte Williams is good at football anymore. It has been a downhill slide. Even behind that incredible Broncos offensive line last season, it was a slide and a half ever since he took, the unfortunate ACL injury a couple years ago. Flotation sends in a question, says Eckler or Tracy at running back, same lineup as last question. As of right now, Tracy, 100%. Especially early on into the season because Scadaboo's been dealing with a bit of an injury. He is going to take a couple weeks to probably get integrated at a fuller extent. So Tracy, to begin with, especially considering, I mentioned this all off season and I'll continue to harp on this fact. Last season amongst all quarterbacks, or actually, in fact, in the last 2 consecutive seasons, Russell Wilson has the highest check down rate to running backs amongst all quarterbacks in the NFL. He is a check down machine, so expect Tracy to see himself hopefully 3, 4, 5 receptions if a negative game script is to appear against Washington in week 1. Very promising. Very, very promising. Jesse G sends in a question. Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate it. It's a strategy for a 14-man draft in a full PPR. I mean, the strategy just depends on how many roster spots we're talking. If it's 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end, I think it's purely just a matter of you want to build depth, but you also want to get at least 1 advantage at quarterback and tight end if available. Now, again, the availability of that opportunity is going to be presented based on where you're selecting. If theoretically you're picking at the back end of the first round, you're subject to probably just having to pass on a quarterback or tight end at a top 3 capacity at either of those positions because you're not going to be able to. I mean, you can, but it's going to be a reach. So at that point, I'm probably just suggesting that if you're picking in the late first, you're just building off of balance. Wide receivers, running backs relatively early. Maybe you can invest in a tight end in the 3rd round if somebody falls to you. You could in the 4th round if theoretically available, one of those top 4 quarterbacks. But again, I don't think it'll be available. It's something that you'd probably have to just punt on into the later rounds, round 8, 9. But you're building depth up until then because, again, in a 14-team league, the depth is going to disappear, but you'll have a really strong base there. And then you just need to draft 2 tight ends and 2 quarterbacks and just play it out, play matchups, just like you do with defenses. If you're selecting early, then again, you can buy in on some of those advantages at quarterback and tight end as they come down the board, of course. Denon, what's up, brother? Says, I'm in a half PPR, 2 quarterback, 2 wide receiver, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, and 1 flex league with 7 bench spots and 2 IR spots. Beautiful. That's exactly how I run my. Actually, the only difference between my main home league and that league, Denon, is that we play with 3 wide receiver starters and 1 flex, but half PPR, 2 IR spots, 7 bench. Yeah, it looks perfect. But this, you play at a 10-man league. I play at a 12. Okay, so a little bit different, but let's see what you have in terms of your question. What would you draft? Okay, what would be your draft strategy if you were to pick from 1.05 to 1.07? In this function with a 10-team league, if I'm 1.05 to 1.07 and one of the top 4 quarterbacks are available, Allen, Lamar, Daniels, or Hurts, I'm more than happy to go in that direction. If in fact they all disappear, then I'll go with best available running back or wide receiver. And then in the second round, I will go ahead and invest in my quarterback. So I want to at least get 1 quarterback in the first 2 rounds. Then I will probably be looking to invest in my second quarterback around probably rounds 5 and 6. I'll probably try to jump back in and get a Trevor Lawrence or a Drake May around that range and run those within my second quarterback position. Or could theoretically maybe even wait a little bit longer and get a Jared Goff. Just get the stability of a second quarterback. You don't need a game breaker. You just need someone that's going to be there every week and put up a solid amount of points with potential upside occasionally. Let's see here. The Real DYL says, in a PPR, first 4 rounds, CD, HN, AJ Brown, and Brees. Thoughts? I think that's a pretty strong first 4 rounds. The fact that you're able to get AJ Brown in the third, I think speaks to how strong the team ends up potentially being here. I'm not the biggest fan of Brees Hall, but if he's able to put up anything remotely close to what he was capable of accomplishing last season, he is going to be worth the 4th round investment overall. So yeah, I think as a structure of being able to get those players, I'm really happy with it, and I think you should be as well. I mean, again, you have HN and CD and AJ Brown with the first 3 picks of your draft, which in terms of like a full PPR format, seeing as to where I have them, that's 3 of my top 18 players this year in the first 3 rounds for yourself. 3 of my top 18. So that means that people, like, theoretically speaking, you shouldn't be getting that kind of you got blessed. I just really worked in your favor. Okay, really quickly, let me go ahead and see what we have here. We had a question sent in via Super Chat from Sean Trevino. Sean, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing well. Long time no see. Sean says, in a 10-team full PPR league, 2 flex, 6 spots. Okay. Would you prefer to take a double wide receiver to get 2 elite, or go running back with Christian McCaffrey, then a wide receiver? I'm eyeing BTJ in the second round. I mean, at this point, it depends on what available receivers we have. I think in a 10-team league, I think it's a little bit more of a palatable path to go double wide receiver there at the end of the first round. Theoretically, again, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Puka, whichever of those 3. If you can get 2 of them, great. If you're eyeing BTJ in the second, then you can pair up Neighbors and BTJ with year 2 receivers that are both going to improve their fantasy point outputs from last year, and then go ahead and reintegrate the running back conversation in round 3 and 4. So as of right now, I'm very comfortable considering the full PPR format with double flex. I would say that you probably could go ahead and maybe even select 3 to 4 wide receivers in your first, 6 selections in order to fill those 2 starting wide receiver spots and 2 flex immediately. Punt on quarterback and tight end and just let it ride that way. All right, Juan Vaca Ramirez. What's up, Juan? Hope you're doing well. Long time no see. 12-man full PP. Let's see here. 12-man league. I drafted Neighbors, Bucky McBride, Metcalf, Sutton, Caleb Johnson, JCM, Murray, ETN, Jameson Williams. How did I do? Who should I play as my RB2? I mean, your RB2 is kind of going to have to be Caleb Johnson until further notice. Because again, JCM, we're waiting for him to earn the full-time workload. Unless that could occur week 1, but we still want to wait and kind of not risk it in that regard. So yeah, as of right now, really strong start of this draft, getting Neighbors, Bucky, McBride. If it's a full PPR, it's even that much stronger because of McBride and his 100 and plus, potential receptions this year with the volume of targets that he sees. And then you have incredible support wide receivers in the form of Metcalf, Sutton. Really strong running back depth across the board there. Kyler Murray solid. So you have a great, quarterback and tight end stack kind of tandem. We're hoping for more touchdowns between the 2 of them. Jameson Williams that late is pretty ridiculous. If that's Javonte, I'm not interested in playing him. But I think it's solid across the board. just purely have to, it's the waiting game. Because you have those rookie running backs in ETN, we're just kind of waiting to see who's going to be the reliable one of the bunch. Ness was asking in the live chat, do you have any shares of Quinshon Judkins? Not really, no. As of right now, in majority of leagues that I'm running, I'm not taking that risk. I'd rather buy in on Dylan Sampson or Jerome Ford. And quite frankly, I'm not doing much of that either because I don't really want shares of the backfield of this team. I'd rather just get shares of Njoku, Judy, and Cedric Tillman. Those are the guys that I want out of that offense. Thank you. STG212 says, I have the first pick and set on Jamar Chase. Okay, perfect. What picks do you like in terms of the 2/3 turn? My league is 3 wide receiver, 2 running back, 1 flex, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end. Yeah, if I was in your position, I'm probably selecting another wide receiver and then a running back. So unless like 2 incredible running backs, let's say, for example, on the 2-3 turn, you somehow have the opportunity of selecting Jacobs and Chase Brown, I would do that. But in the event in which you're only going to get one of the solid potential 10 running backs returning to you in that second round, considering the full PPR format, I'd go with one of those running backs and an additional wide receiver. I'm looking towards Lad McConkey, AJ Brown, JSN on that turn. I think that's really strong. If Bowers ends up making it to you in a full PPR, I'd be very happy with that as well. But I'm not too interested in grabbing an early quarterback on the turn. I could justify it, but as of right now, I think in your position, we're looking wide receiver running back or running back tight end to start. Thank you. 26 bands up. What's up, brother? How you doing? Says, hey, chat, Colts or Commanders for week 1? So are we thinking Colts defense against Miami or Washington versus the New York Giants? I mean, as a whole, I don't like either defense, to be honest. I think the Commanders defense was quite underwhelming last year. I know they've made improvements. They brought in some, pieces here and there. The Colts defense, I think, is going to be far much improved based on the fact that, of course, you bring in Lou Anarumo, the new defensive coordinator, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals. And they play against Miami. And honestly, if they don't have Achane there in week 1, it could be a disaster. So maybe it's the Colts in my mind. All right. Alan sends in a question, says, no question. Oh, it's not a question. Okay. It just says, thank you for the content. I appreciate that, Alan. Very appreciated for your contribution, man. Thank you. Okay. Just a quick reminder, guys. I understand many of you want your questions to be answered. Again, there's just one of me and many of you. Please do not spam. Nima, if you could do me a favor, don't spam anymore. I see your question. I will try to get to it. Again, guys, as of right now, I have the ban hammer locked and loaded. Please don't make me use it. I appreciate it, guys. I will try to get to everybody's questions to the best of my ability. Thank you. What's up, Chaos? How's it going? Okay, so after the question from let's see here. After Alan, we had Owick Witt, who says, in a 12-team half PPR, I'm keeping BTJ and Laporta. Do I take Bijan or Gibbs at the 1.1? I mean, if you want to take Gibbs, you can. I've just been on the Bijan's my number one player in a half PPR all off season. So that's the way that I go about it. Thank you. STG says, I should mention that it's a 12-team half PPR. Yeah, I was under okay, so it's a 12-team half PPR. So yeah, in that case, I'm still very much so looking towards the same kind of construction, but I would be a little bit more inclined to do that, Jamar Chase and then on the turn go RB if that's available. But I don't think it will be because of the half PPR, so it'll probably shove down some wide receiver value. You could theoretically start with maybe even better potential than an AJ Brown there on that turn if possible. But if not, again, I'm very comfortable with the idea of going RB Lad McConkey or RB and then Bowers, depending on what's on that turn. Thank you. H2Z Tilted sends in a question. Says, in a half PPR, 12-team, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex format, I got Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Lamar Jackson, Sam Laporta, DK, Diggs, and Kupp, and Jalen Warren in my flex. Thoughts? In a 3 wide receiver league, having CMC, Jonathan Taylor, Lamar Jackson, I have no complaints with any of those 3. Sam Laporta, so you got a little bit of a solid tight end there in terms of production. Our wide receivers consisting of DK, Diggs, and Kupp incredibly scare me. Again, you have Kupp that is joining a new offense, and he is clearly still not the number 1, and it's going to be a run-first attack. Diggs, again, coming off of the ACL. DK, I got no problem with. I would like to hope that you have more wide receiver depth in the form of, some support players that can maybe fill in hopes that, if Kupp and Diggs can't pull it, somebody else can come and fill it in. But as of right now, that's my biggest concern. Otherwise, everything else is relatively strong across the board there. Alrighty, really quickly. So, quick reminder. I'm going to answer about 4 more of these super chat questions. Greatly do appreciate y'all sending those through. And then I'll go ahead and I will set up a draft so we can all draft together, and then I'll continue to answer questions while we do that, okay? Quickly want to get through these. We had Justin Rhinesmith, very cool last name, sends in a question, says in a 12-team PPR 1.06, Henry, Genty, or Jefferson? In a full PPR, I would go with Jefferson there. If Lamb is not available, yeah, I'd go with either of those 2 wide receivers in a full PPR scoring format. I think that is the most advantageous play, because you know that in a full PPR, there's a very high likelihood that the teams after the 1.06 in a 12-team league are also going to be going wide receiver. So Amon-Ra, Neighbors, Puka, BTJ, Nico Collins are likely to come off the board very quickly, which will push down the value of running back in the second round to where you will be, or London as well, coming off the board to where your second round selection will be a very valuable running back. And there's a chance that even Henry could arrive in the second round to you. I legitimately have seen that on multiple occasions. So I would definitely go with the wide receiver there, because you know that wide receiver is going to go on a bit of a run there on that 1-2 turn for majority of that time. Cardiac Jackson's in a question. Says, how much does a 6-point per passing touchdown change quarterback value? Okay, so in a 6-point per passing touchdown league, it is of my opinion that you should be selecting Josh Allen at the back end of the first round. I would say early second for Lamar Jackson. I would say late second for Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow. Actually middle second for Joe Burrow. Late second, early third for Daniels and Jalen Hurts. And then you let it ride. So yes, I think because again, you have to remember, Lamar Jackson last season, when we talk about the comparison of his 4-point per passing touchdown format to 6-point, in a 6-point per passing touchdown league last season, he scored 500 and something points. Like it was like 530. So there is a huge jump from let me pull the stat real quick. Let me see how actually ridiculous it was. I think I have it actually in one of my spreadsheets here. Let me go find it. There's a huge differential. So it is a massive impact that needs to be certainly taken notice of. Which video did I include it in? I think it's this one. Where is it? Where is it? I don't know where I put it. I'll have to find it later. But yeah, as of right now, it's enough to where, again, early selection. Ibrahim sends in a question, says, Gibbs plus Jonathan Taylor plus Hill plus DK, Swift, or T-Mac. If I'm going Gibbs, Taylor, I don't need Swift. I'll just take T-Mac in a full PPR. Thank you. Dino Smash with Nash sends in a question, says 10 team. Keep Henry in the second round or Josh Allen in the third. If it's a 1 QB league, I think I'd rather keep Henry in the second, honestly. If it's a PPR, you're still going to look, you're basically paying for what you're going to get. So it's just a matter of which one do you want to guarantee that you get on roster. I would say that I'd probably rather just have the running back there. Jordan sends in a question. Thank you very much, Jordan. I appreciate that. Says in a Superflex PPR, too much depth. JMO and Swift are on my bench. Do I give Devontae Smith, Jameson Williams, Kamara, and Swift to get A.J. Brown, Omarion Hampton? Or do I give Devontae Smith, Jameson Williams, Swift, and Stroud to get Jefferson, Aaron Rodgers? The quarterbacks are Geno, Stroud, and Fields. I am more inclined to... let's see. Devontae, JMO, Swift, and Stroud for Jefferson. I mean, if you have so much depth to where, like, you just don't even care and you're just letting it ride, I'd just rather go get the... I'd rather have Stroud there than Rodgers if I'm going to have to start somebody every week. I'd probably rather take the first trade, if anything, as of right now. I don't love it, I'll tell you that much. But if you've got like an 8-team league, then it's fine. AM sends in a question, says, do you think Keaton Mitchell will have any fantasy relevance this season? Outside of a potential horrific injury? No. When I say horrific injury, I mean to and we're not going to put it out there. We drafting today? Yes, right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be picking from, I like 1.07 today. I don't know what it is. I just have a feeling that lucky number 7s. Okay, we're going to put that in there. If you guys would like to join, you can go ahead and do so. And we're going to go ahead and travel on over to the live draft board. Ibuka or Ridley in a PPR redraft? I'd rather have Ridley. DeAndre Warren sends in a super chat. Says, I know it's early. What do you think about Isaac Tesla? Yep. Torrey Horton, excuse me. Okay, so I think so this is the thing about those 3 receivers, okay? Tesla has so much competition within that Lions offense. Unless somebody goes down, he is going to be Tim Patrick. So again, he's not going to be exposed to much more than a couple opportunities here and there. So again, unless something is to happen to J-Mo, Laporta, Amon-Ra, the target opportunity shares are not going to be as consistent, which makes him a lesser option. Now, considering earlier today, Marquez Valdes-Scantling was cut, Horton becomes that much more valuable because he is going to be a starter on 11 personnel sets. He is going to be on the field. And if Cooper Kupp, with his age, is going to miss time, he could very easily be the number 2 receiving option of that offense, which elevates his value. And then, of course, we have Thornton, who, of course, is going to be playing alongside of Jacoby Myers and Amari Cooper. If Jacoby holds out, Thornton can very easily climb into that top 48 conversation instantly. So as of right now, I'd probably lean towards the uncertainty of the situation. Thornton number 1, Horton number 2, and Tesla number 3. I think these are going to be names that I mentioned over the course of this season on the waiver wire episode. And if they're lucky enough, these rookies could have value, but it's only going to take place in case of an injury occurring, which, again, we are hoping does not happen. Please, God, no. John in the chat says full PPR. Okay, really quickly, before I do answer that question, really quickly, just want to share what we're going to do here. We're going to go, let's go half PPR, 12 teams, 60-second pick timer. We're going to go save that. We're going to go 3 wide receivers. We're going to go 1 flex, and we're going to let it ride. Perfect. Best of luck, and let's have some fun, shall we? All right, Matthew Zhang says, in a week 1 PPR, do I start DK Pearsall or Trevion Henderson? Brother, it's too early. It is way too early. Again, I am still in draft mode. Way too early. As of right now, if I was to blindly tell you, I would tell you to start DK Metcalf. That's what I would tell you. John says, in a full PPR, 12-man league, Purdy, K9/Charbonnet, Pollard, Eckler, JCM. Okay, nice. Neighbors, BTJ Kittle, J-Mo, Pearsall. Okay, Jacoby Myers, excuse me. Anything to trade? I don't feel good about running back or quarterback. I feel great about your quarterback, and I feel great about your running backs. I wouldn't make any difference. I wouldn't make any changes, legitimately. And I'm not just saying that. I think there's a lot that you just need to let play out. Am I crazy for drafting Travis Hunter over Teteroa McMillan? I think you are, but that's primarily because, again, the way that I currently see it, let's see here. The way that I currently see it, Travis Hunter is the number 2 receiving option at best within that offense. So he's going to get lesser targets, but if they're going to throw the ball 650 times this year, then he's fine, and I don't have an issue with it. He's got talent, but he's got to play a lot of offense. He's got to see a lot of targets to be able to keep up with McMillan, and that's my biggest fear. Again, I've been quoted to have said this offseason that I'm expecting Travis Hunter to have a very similar scoreline and stat line that Marvin Harrison Jr. had last season. 60 grabs, 800 yards, maybe 7 touchdowns. I think that is within the realm of possibility. A wide receiver 30, 29, 28 maybe. Let's see here. AJ in the chat says, if I have the 1.01 in a 12-team full PPR league, would you take a tight end or the quarterback in round 3? I would take a quarterback there in a full PPR if Bowers is there. If Bowers is not there, I would consider going Josh Allen. I prefer to go running back, wide receiver along with Jamar Chase in that scenario, but teach their own. If you want to go quarterback, I don't have an issue with that. DeAndre Warren had sent in. Okay, thank you again, DeAndre Warren. I appreciate that. Thank you again, Matthew Zhang. Nima in the chat says, do I trade Chuba Hubbard, Drake London, Colston Loveland for Ingram, Justin Jefferson, and Pacheco? So you're trading a first for a second, and then a fourth for a fifth, and then yeah, you know what? I'll take the Justin Jefferson side of that deal. I'm okay with that. Thank you. Alrighty, let's see what is available here for your boy. Okay. The Chase Brown go? Of course he did. Every time I want Chase Brown, guys, you do it to me and you make it difficult. Let me check my rankings here. Where do I have Jonathan Taylor in a half PPR in comparison? I have Bucky ahead of him. I have Achane below them both until further notice. We'll keep an eye on the Achane potential. Cool. Keep it pushing. And then let me bring this back up. Sorry about that. Okay. Continuing on. Jay Nice in the chat says, what's up, Andrew? Ready for another year? What are you thinking if you have the 9th pick in a full PPR, running back or wide receiver? Okay, so let's look at the draft that we have on screen here. Under the assumption that we're playing a full PPR, I don't think Henry goes. So I think maybe the best available at the 9th pick is most likely going to be Amon-Ra, St. Brown, or Puka. I'd prefer to take Amon. I'd rather actually take Puka. Well, let me see where I have him in my full PPR. I'm not going to talk out of my ass here. Let's see what I have projected out. As it currently stands in a full PPR projected, I have Puka there. So I take Puka or I take Amon-Ra. Just depends on what you kind of feel. And in the second round, considering it's a full PPR format, I don't mind the idea of grabbing a wide receiver effectively, but it'd be really difficult for me to pass up on a Chase Brown there in the second round in a full PPR format. 26 bands up says McLeod or Tesla. Well, you're talking about like Ray McLeod, right? That's what you're talking about. I'm not going to invest in Ray McLeod this year. I don't think they're throwing the ball that much in Atlanta. I could be absolutely wrong, but I don't think they're going to throw that much. Let me scroll back up here. We had Frenzy 40K. What's up, Frenzy? Says in a 10-team full PPR, 6 point for quarterback touchdowns. I have the 9th pick. If I go with a wide receiver in the first, is it early to go with Chase Brown in second or Josh Allen? I would take Josh Allen in the second, legitimately. I think I would. Yeah, I would. If the rest of your league has ignored quarterback up until then I guess you could just kick it down the road and just see how it functions out. But I would take Josh Allen there, just because it's just too valuable to pass up on. Again, like the quarterback position with Josh Allen throwing 30 touchdowns, that means he gets an additional 60 points on top of his fantasy upside, which, I mean, that's a huge swing. Like on a per game average, that's an extra 2 to 3 points. No, that's actually 3+ points per game on average, which, I mean, it's just too much value effectively. So I would go with Josh Allen there. But I can understand if you just wanted to take a position player. So here in the second round, wide receivers not come off the board. I probably, I don't mind Josh Allen here, but I don't know if I can live. We'll see how 4-10 and 5-3 go here. Gonna have to probably consist of the Cortland Suttons of the world and DK Metcalf, which I mean, I don't mind that as my 1-2 combo, but I would have loved Ladd McConkey here. Ladd goes there. That's perfectly fine. I like that construction. You got balance across the board. You're not ignoring the wide receiver position. But again, this position at number 3 could certainly get away with it. I've seen it many of times. Volume falls down to them. The wide receiver position falls down and value falls down. And then they end up cashing in relatively easily. Okay, seeing as to the best available players, I'm probably Tyreek killing this thing, or I'm Lamar Jacksoning, and I'd honestly just rather have Tyreek in round 3. Okay, we had a question that came in from David Luna via Super Chat. David, thank you very much. I hope you're doing well, David. Says, is there a world where Genty is a bust pick? Injury? That's it. That's the only way that I see it. Injury. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only way. I don't see it any other way. Because the volume of opportunity he is going to be effectively given this season is so much so to where even if he's incredibly inefficient, even if he's running at 3.8 yards per carry, when you have 300 rushing attempts, it doesn't matter, So I still think that he's going to be really strong there. Let's see here. Valk21 says, any major worries? In my 12-team full PPR with Bo Nix, Bijan Robinson, Chase Brown, Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Shakir, Warren, Aubrey. My bench consists of Keon Coleman, Zach Charbonnet, Trey Benson, and Bayshal Tootin. No, I think it's a pretty strong team. Do I have any concerns? I mean, not really. The only concern you have is Matthew Stafford's health. You have, again, two incredibly solid running backs, two veteran wide receivers that are going to ball out this year. You got a top 6 to 7 quarterback. You've got a tight end that again is going to be a monster. But then you have your kicker is going to score more points than people's backup running backs. Let's just put it that, not backup. Sorry, they're RB2. Brandon Aubrey is going to outscore RB2s this year. That's just how it works, especially if you play in a league where you get 5 points for a 50-yard field goal and 6 points for a 60. Aubrey's just going to clean house there. So pretty strong across the board. I like the depth. I like the insurance policies of Charbonnet, Benson, and Tootin. I think those are great in terms of your potential for your flex as the season progresses. Daryl Perez says Keon Coleman or Keenan Allen. I'd rather have Keon Coleman, honestly. What do we do? What are we doing with Judkins? You leave him on your bench and you pray. We got to go to church. That's what we got to do. Got to go ask the fantasy gods for help. AJ in the chat was saying, does Tony Pollard go up the rankings with Tyjae Spears out for the first 4 weeks? Absolutely. Again, I was waiting for today's cuts to readjust my rankings later tonight after the live stream. I will be adjusting my rankings. So for those of you who have signed up via Betr to get those rankings, those will probably be sent out hopefully by Thursday at the latest. Maybe by tomorrow, we'll see how much progress I make in terms of the adjusting of the projections that I have. Outside of that, again, if you're Patreon members, again, same thing. Hopefully by Thursday, it'll be ready. But as it currently stands, yes, Pollard does slightly go up because 4 games of unimpeded volume of opportunity in the absence of Tyjae Spears. We saw it last year. When there's no Tyjae Spears, Tony Pollard gets like 23 opportunities per game. And if you can get a full month workload of that, that's like a 15 to 16 point player on average, half or full PPR. And if he has breakout games to where he scores a couple touchdowns more than his normal average, I mean, the value there is so incredibly high. It's just kind of, yeah, it's going to be difficult to pass up on. Of course, you take DK Metcalf right in front of my face. I mean, you just had to, brother. You had to. You couldn't resist. All right, let's see here. Laporta, don't like that. Don't really want quarterback. As it currently stands in a half PPR, let me see where I have these players ranked. Evans is gone. Metcalf just went. Cortland Sutton would probably be my pick here at wide receiver. I need the depth as well. And if it's a 3 wide receiver league, so I probably should be addressing the position considering Cook and Hampton are gone. Kenneth Walker has also just been taken. So yeah, Sutton is my next best player at this point in terms of projection points this season. I'll take it. Thank you. Moving on. We had a question that came in from Nels Santiago. Nels, brother, I hope you're doing well. Long time no see. Says, hey, bro, would you drop Myers? No, I wouldn't drop him. Absolutely not. In a 12-team PPR league, for running backs Tootin or Ollie Gordon, Cooper, Dobbs, or Douglas. Nope, absolutely not. You keep him. Again, you got to remember, if Myers is going to be kept by the Raiders, he's most likely going to be re-signed to an extended, contract, to an adjustment. They may give him some more incentives, a little bit of cash up front. It should be great. But in the event in which he does not play, then he's going to get shipped. And if he's going to get shipped anywhere, you got to think about the possibilities of the teams that are in need of a wide receiver as of right now going into the season. To which my first thought immediately goes to Pittsburgh. Anytime there's been a wide receiver, quote unquote, on the market for potential trade, there's always been the discussion that Pittsburgh wants Terry McLaurin or Pittsburgh is looking into Tyreek Hill or whatever. They would potentially be the ones knocking for the services of a Jacoby Myers, which in this case, I think would be really strong in terms of improving his potential for value as the number 2 there. Mark Andrews bounce back year. I mean, to be totally honest, Mark Andrews had some career high numbers last year. 11 receiving touchdowns, the most in his career ever to this date. So bounce back, I don't know if how do you bounce back from being a top 8 tight end? So are you saying top 5 potential? If we're thinking top 5, the volume of target opportunity that he would have to be exposed to has to be incredibly high, which again, if Likely's going to miss the first 4 games of the season or maybe 2-3 games here until then, the touchdowns still have to be present. Otherwise, the target count has to get to the 6, 7, 8 range for us to feel a little bit more comfortable regarding Mark Andrews. Again, I think at this point, he is just a touchdown or bust kind of player. And I think that's perfectly fine because it's the tight end position. And we know that the tight end position, unless your tight ends are scoring touchdowns, you have an incredibly high rate of them more likely than not making the top 12 within a given week. Which, when you have an offense that scores as much as they do, when you have a player in the form of, Mark Andrews that gets as much red zone opportunities, I think it's solid. We had a question that came in from Big Swole via Super Chat. Thank you, Big Swole. It says Pacheco for Charbonnet to pair with my Kenneth Walker. I mean, listen, I can understand it, but I would like to know the rest of the depth on roster. I think giving away a starter in the form of Pacheco in order to ensure your Kenneth Walker value, I think there's merit to it, but I also think that you may be giving up a little bit too much in that circumstance. So I'd love to know what else you have on roster. You don't have to send in another super chat, just type it in the chat. I'd like to know. Thank you. And then at that point I can make my, adjustment. But as of right now, I'm not too interested as it stands. Okay, the fact that James Conner's here and my flex is still open, like I have a hard time passing on that, guys. Like it just, if Burrow was here, I'd be interested. I don't really look at the tight end position. I'm just going to go with James Conner here. I think it's just too much value for a player that last season was averaging about 15.99 points per game when healthy. I just have a hard time not taking that. All right, where are we at? In the 5th round, James Conner's ridiculous value. Mr. Buffalo Bill, thank you very much. Says in a full PPR, I got offered Omarion Hampton and BTJ for my Christian McCaffrey and Tet McMillan. My wide receivers are DJ Moore, JSN, Debo Samuel, Addison, and Tet. Okay. And my running backs are Achane, Jacobs, McCaffrey, and Bucky Irving. Okay, understood. Yeah, I'm okay with the deal. I don't know how many players you can start in your league. Under the assumption that you can start Achane, Jacobs, and Bucky. And then you can also, I mean, if you're playing in like a multi-flex league, let's say it's 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex, I'm okay with the trade. In the event in which that's not the case, and yeah, in the event in which that's not the case, and maybe I would probably say no. But as of right now, assuming that's the case, I don't mind it. Let's see here. PB Star says, are you taking Omarion Hampton in this range? Like in the 2nd round? As it currently stands, let me see where I have Hampton ranked. Hampton, as it currently stands, is a player that... Oh, that's my full PPR ranking. I have to adjust it to half PPR. Hampton is a player that, as it currently stands, I think is a 3rd round pick, but an early 3rd. So am I taking Omarion Hampton in the early 3rd? Yeah, I don't mind that, especially if I have a wide receiver base that is relatively solid. If I started Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, or I was able to get a solid wide receiver in round 2, yeah, I don't mind him in the 3rd. Look at that. Evans, Adams, Javonte, and Pearsall. What a build, brother. What a build. I love it. Very strong. Very, very strong. Okay, where are we at here? Most upside, Ollie Gordon, Mims, Thornton, or Braylon Allen? The most upside is Mims, clearly. AJ says, do you recommend getting Burrow along with Chase for a stack? Thanks. I mean, if it occurs, if it happens, if it's available, sure. Otherwise, I'm just looking for the highest potential scorer on my roster. I'm not particularly interested in going for stacks. I don't really buy into the idea. I just rather try to get the best potential option. So if the opportunity presents itself to where I have Jamar Chase and Jalen Hurts is available, I'd rather just have Hurts, right? I don't need to chase Joe Burrow for the stacking potential. I just want my most points scored potentially there. Okay, let's see here. What do we have available in this circumstance? Tracy's available. I like Tracy, but I need wide receiver. I think I just take Rashee Rice here, and I just kind of let it ball out. Ooh. I like that idea, because I see what's potentially coming down the line here. Yeah, let's just... I mean, this is 2 days in a row that somehow I get left with Rashee Rice. I don't know how it's occurring like this, but we'll see. I mean, my team is like one hairline away from getting completely shattered. It takes the Dolphins starting 0-4 and Tyreek Hill pulling an Antonio Brown, and my whole season's uprooted. Okay, let's see here. Octavio sends in a question, says, questions in the chat. Octavio, let me see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. 10-team full PPR league. We have Allen, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, Omarion Hampton, Breece Hall, Njoku, Tet McMillan. Benches Pollard, Montgomery, Golden, Charbonnet, Kincaid, Coleman. What running back should I look to trade for, or should I keep it as is? I mean, you have Omarion Hampton, Breece Hall, and Tony Pollard, and Montgomery. If you're looking to try to improve at running back in a full PPR, I'd like to go get Alvin Kamara. If that is not in the realm of possibility, I would like to theoretically venture out and see if there's any interest from the Kenneth Walker manager, Chase Brown manager. Those are the guys that I'd go for that are not like the biggest names to where they're going to have to require the Omega haul in comparison to what you have on roster as it stands. Jody in the chat says odd man out, Najee, Benson, or Tootin. I think it's Najee Harris that's the odd man out. Because think about it this way. Even if Najee Harris is given, let's say, 8 to 10 rushing attempts per game, are we ever starting him? Like, genuinely, are we ever starting him? No. In the event in which Omarion Hampton is healthy the whole season, Najee Harris, I don't think, presents enough value to where we would ever consider starting him outright. Big Swole says current roster in terms of full PPR running backs are Kamara, Swift, Pacheco, Gibbs, Kenneth Walker. My wide receivers are Nico, Drake, London, Sutton, Ricky, Golden. Saw Hurts at quarterback and Njoku Warren at tight end. Okay, cool. So in terms of the context that you provided to me, very helpful. Brandon Smith, I just saw your question. I don't know how I skipped it earlier. That is my apology. I will go ahead and get back to that in just a moment here. In terms of Big Swole's question, am I trading away? You have Kenneth Walker, Biggs, Gibbs, Swift. Yeah, I'm cool with the trade. Make it. That works for me. You have enough depth to be able to justify it. Sounds good. Thank you. All right, Brandon Smith, thank you very much for the question. I apologize me missing that earlier. It says $120 buy-in, 10-man half PPR redraft league. I got offered, a guy offered me Travis Hunter for Pearsall, but I already have BTJ. Thoughts? Yeah, I'd rather have Pearsall. I have Pearsall higher ranked, and I think he's going to score more points this year, so I don't think I make that deal. I keep it as is and roll. Thank you. Okay, we took care of Buffalo Bill there. We took our Activio. Joel Garza, thank you very much. There's questions in the chat. Appreciate it, Andrew. Thank you. All right, Garza, let's see what you have here, buddy. Is it in the... There it is. It says rate my team in a full PPR. I'm about to be on the clock here. Let me just see what is available and what I could theoretically get. I was thinking that I could theoretically steal Matthew Golden in the 7th. That is not going to be a possibility for me. So, alas, we probably go Jerry Jeudy here, considering the potential of the production. Kelsey... No, I don't need Kelsey in this scenario. Don't need Mixon. Don't like any of these guys. Nope. Quarterback is still relatively cheap. We'll take the Jerry Jeudy play in this purpose. Okay, keep it moving. Okay, let's see what your question is, Garza. In a full PPR keeper league, Amon-Ra, Chase Brown. We have DJ Moore. We have Chuba. We have David Montgomery, Baker, Xavier, Etienne, Blue, Myers, Juan Jennings. You mean Jawan Jennings, right? Chiefs defense and Bates as my kicker. Amon-Ra, Chase Brown. I mean, I would have loved a little bit more wide receiver depth. I think having DJ Moore as your number 1, Xavier as your 2, and Myers as your 3. I think that, I mean, actually, never mind. You're good. You have Amon-Ra. What am I saying? So then what's the Chase Brown? Chuba? Yeah, okay, you're fine. I think you're solid. I mean, again, you got playmakers across the board here. So I have no issue with this in a full PPR. No problem at all. I think you've got enough running back depth on the bench in terms of the form of like Etienne and Blue that are enough like lottery picks per se to where they provide enough value to you. And along with, having Myers and Jawan Jennings there. So across the board, pretty solid. I don't know who Little is on your team. So I don't know if that was a autocorrect or if that's supposed to be somebody. We had a question that came in from Kaiser. Kaiser, thank you very much. Says, happy birthday, bro. Questions in the chat. Thank you, Kaiser. I appreciate that. Says that I'm in a 10-team full PPR. 1 quarterback, 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, 1 tight end, and 2 flex. I have the 1.03 pick. I don't know if I should go with CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, or Christian McCaffrey. In a 10-team full PPR with 2 flex, 2 wide receiver, I think the justification could be made because it's a 10-team league to go with wide receiver because of the running back value that's going to come back down the board for you. Says also, what do you go with in the 2nd and 3rd rounds? So as of right now, if you are afraid of running back, because I could justify and I can make sense of the idea of not wanting to go Saquon or Christian McCaffrey. as it currently stands within my rankings, I would go CD Lamb there because of the full PPR format. Then I would follow with a running back in the second. And if McBride or Bowers are available in the third, I take them. Otherwise, I grab a wide receiver like Ladd McConkey and JSN in the third. So I go wide receiver, RB wide receiver, or wide receiver, RB tight end. That's the way that I go about it. Kaiser, thank you. Okay, let's get back to some of these questions. Again, let's see. Charbonnet and JCM and Mason coming off the board on the turn. Okay, very good, very good. Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. You know, that's the thing about Kenneth Walker. I hate that I have to invest in Charbonnet so early to protect my investment. Like, it makes Kenneth Walker a third-round pick when I have to use a fourth and an eighth on him. Like, theoretically, in terms of overall investment, which, again, is scary, but, I mean, it's worth it to an extent. I could justify it. Okay, seeing as how this board has kind of constructed itself, looking at what has come off of the board. When did Diggs come off the board? That's what I'm actually curious about. When did Stephon come off the board? Or is he still available? Yeah, he's gone. I just can't see him. I don't know why I can't see him. Oh, there it is. 7.10. Okay, cool. So if Stephon Diggs is gone and there's no Olave, Quinshon Judkins gets taken for the auto pick for the greatness of that. Theoretically speaking, based on next best available on my list, seeing as to how those players are gone, I've already solidified wide receiver. At that point, I just take my Baker Mayfield and I let it go. All right, Alan, what's up, brother? Says, can you do rankings of mock draft when done? I mean, I can just do it right now. Just looking at the board here, I was curious about how some of these teams were going to turn out, especially team number 3 when they went quarterback in the 3rd round. I think they did a really good job in terms of grabbing Harrison, Wilson, and Waddle where they were able to. But this is like, this right here is as sketchy as it gets. This is like, we are risking it for the biscuit. This is how this structure works. Those are the 3 of the scariest wide receivers in my mind this year, legitimately. But you got them at good value. 4th, 5th, and 6th is fantastic. So I think it's worth the investment. As for the 1.01, I think it's pretty strong construction there across the board. I have no complaints there. I think that's well done. The second round, let's see, second pick, Allen, McLaurin, Hunter. Oh, I mean, you're just stacked here. And I have no, yeah, this is the proper selections. At no point am I taking tight end here. I think Golden's a good investment for the future. You can get a Tyler Warren probably here and be fine. And actually, you don't even take Tyler Warren at the 8.11. You take him in the 9th round because you know that Hawkinson guy is not going to take him. So you don't even need to go tight end here. You can either solidify running back once again, which is very much so. Let's see. You could just cash in on like a ETN in this scenario. Even though, again, the running backs that are left here are just not. Oh, wow. Javonte. Oof. Woof. Okay, let me go ahead and let me catch up on some of these questions. Thank you again, Alan. We'll get to more of that in a moment. Let's see here. Outdoors for Life says, thoughts on punting on quarterback and taking Knicks later? Yeah, sounds good. I mean, again, I got Knicks the other day in the 8th round. I think if you're able to do something of that nature, I think it's very, I think it's strong. I think so. Alan's, we took care of that. David Luna says, higher ceiling on PPR. Neighbors, Puka, Nico, Genti, or Henry. In a PPR, Neighbors has the highest ceiling because he's going to get the most total targets and he'll have the most opportunity for the higher point volume of the bunch. D-Real says, questions in the chat. Happy birthday. Thank you very much, D-Real. I appreciate that. Thank you. Questions in the chat. Where art thou? Question, though, brother. That's my question. There it is. Says, happy birthday. Go. Thoughts. 12-team full PPR. I have quarterback Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence. Beautiful. I love the combo. My running backs are Genti, Brown, Harvey, Johnson. Yep, perfect. And Lloyd. Marshawn Lloyd is going to be placed on the IR. I don't think I'm keeping him on roster. I'm probably dropping him and picking up somebody else. Wide receivers are London, Evans, Sutton, Coleman. Yep, solid. Douglas, Mims. Kraft and Strange are my tight ends. Kickers, Aubrey. Defense is the Broncos. Yeah, you have the number one defense. You have the number one kicker. You've got two solid quarterbacks. You've got incredible depth at both running back and wide receiver. And then you've got, fringe, low end, tight end ones, and then potential breakout in Strange. So, yeah, pretty strong across the board. For a 12-team league, I think you guys got a lot of roster spots. Like the fact that you got Douglas on roster means that you guys got a lot of spots available. But I think across the board, pretty strong. Yeah, the only thing I'm changing is Lloyd. I'm going to try to pick somebody else up. Okay, let's hear. Joel Garza says typo. Little was supposed to be Kittle. Oh, wow, that actually helps your roster a lot. Should I drop Juwan Jennings and go for Tootin for more running back depth? No, I think, I could justify that. Let me see what Jennings' injury status ends up being. I think that's really the question in my mind. We'll see how it kind of pans out there. KB sends in a question, says, sup, Andrew, rate my roster, 12-team league. KB says, I have Kyler, Jacobs, and Henderson, McBride, Chase, and BTJ. God, dude, KB, that is, I mean, what are we supposed to do here? Like, that's just a monster squad, brother. Like, it just, there's no two ways about it. It's just a really good team. Like, all right, let's see here. What do we have? I'm probably going Michael Pittman Jr. here. Oh, Travis Kelce? Yeah, no, never mind. I'll just take Kelce. Thank you very much. There's no reason Kelce should go in the 9th. And the fact that I have Rashee Rice, whenever Rashee goes on suspension, I'll just take Kelce there and just slot him in and get whatever I can get out of it. Hopefully he gets the Taylor Swift buff. The buff gives him about maybe 2 extra targets per game. Now that he's going to, be a married man soon here. Okay, continuing on. Let's see here. Yeah, KB, there's no complaints. It's just a really strong team across the board. Monsters. I mean, it doesn't matter even what your bench looks like. That starting roster is dangerous. Anthony Barrett sends in a question, says, hey, Drew, in a PPR, we have Nico, Puka, or BTJ. If I had to pick who I prefer, I would go Puka 1, I go Nico 2, and I go BTJ 3. And actually, wait. It's a full PPR, you said, yeah? So let me check my full PPR rankings. I have BTJ actually ahead of Nico. So I'd go Puka, BTJ, Nico in a full PPR. It says picking at the end of the first. I'm in a 10-man league. I want to go running back, then want to go wide receiver. Yeah, cool. So whatever running back you do end up getting, as long as you follow with Puka, BTJ, Nico as the order in terms of best available at the time, I think it works. Twisted Folk sends in a question. It says in a half PPR, I got offered Breece Hall and Waddle for my Hampton or Henderson. Okay, interesting. I hate it. Am I crazy? No, I don't think. Listen, I very seldom want to have pieces of unless it's Justin Fields or Mason Taylor. I don't really want Jets this year. Unless their names are Tyreek Hill or Achane, I don't want pieces of the Dolphins this year, right? Like there are very seldom pieces, like unless their names are Genty and Bowers right now, a Raider does not appeal to me. He has Nico, my Henderson, and Myers for Nico and Breece. Yeah, I mean, you can try to get that trade. He's not going to go for it. As of right now, I'm not interested in either of those trades. I just keep what you have. I shine with a super ridiculous super chat. Thank you very much. It's very generous of you. Thank you. Says Sub Drew. We're in my 12-team league and a half PPR. My quarterbacks consist of Knicks, Drake. Okay, Knicks first and foremost. We all know. Top 6 quarterback. At least in my latest rankings, I have him at 6 ahead of Baker Mayfield because obviously all the injuries that have taken place around Baker in comparison to Knicks, who has a full offensive line and a bunch of studs, the best pass blocking offensive line in the league, in fact. Okay, really quickly, let me just see what I have available to myself in this round. Effectively, we like the potential of what is I'm going wide receiver here. Now, as to who is best available, I like Rashid Shaheed. Yeah, I will take Rashid Shaheed there. Thank you very much. Okay, continuing on. So, with your question. So, Knicks, is a top 6 quarterback. London, top 12. Justin Jefferson, top 12. Fantastic. Then you have Kyron, top 12. James Conner, top 15. Tyler Warren, top 10. Then you follow up with Jameson Williams, top 30. Travis Hunter, top 36. It says Bucks kicker, so McLaughlin, fantastic. Kansas City defense, solid. I don't know about, I'm not so excited to play them week 1. I think they're playing against the Chargers. Is it what? Is it in Mexico City on that Friday night? I don't know about week 1 matchup, but again, they've always been consistent for fantasy, so I have no issue with them as a season-long aspect. Tyrone Tracy, beautiful. Rashad White. Again, I don't know if Rashad White is going to be as great as he once was. I don't know if the opportunity share is going to be there, but again, handcuff potential. Trey Benson, handcuff potential. JJ McCarthy, potential for upside. Mason Taylor, handcuff, not potential, not handcuff, but lottery ticket, and then Christian Kirk, lottery ticket. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of the starting roster, really strong across the board. As for the bench, you got lottery tickets, and that's what you want. And once you need to utilize them, come your potential week 5 through 14 bye weeks, we're gonna make enough waiver wire moves to where it'll structure out. Justin Fields in round 11, love it. Ramondre and Javonte. This scares the shit out of me though. Those running backs. But hey, I mean, listen, you never know. Ollie Gordon in the. Hey, you know what? You don't even have A-Chan. Sheesh, you're really pushing. I love it. All right. I appreciate that, Aishan. Thank you very much. Michael Wynn sends in a question, says, questions in the chat. Happy birthday. Thank you very much, Michael. Appreciate that. Okay, let's see here. Where are we in terms of Michael Wynn's question? Am I on the clock? I knew it. Okay. Woody Marks, Braylon. Oh, Braylon Allen would have. What a pick. What do I want? I mean, at this point, I take Trey Benson just to ensure my James Conner investment doesn't fall to the wayside here. Okay. Where are we at? So, Michael Wynn, I got to find your question here because I know that you probably typed it in the chat, but as to where it ended up is the question, my friend. Michael, if you could do me a favor, just retype it in the live chat. That'd be greatly appreciated. Then I can go ahead and check it out. PB Star says, hey, Andrew, can you rate my team in a 12-team league? Yeah. PB Stars, let's see your team. It says Justin Fields, Omarion Hampton, Travion Henderson, Dylan Sampson, Puka Nacua, BTJ Ridley, Emeka Egbuka, Jacoby Myers, Juwan Jennings, Colston Loveland. I think you've got a lot of rookies. That in itself scares the daylights out of me to where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rookies and all of them are contributing come week 1. And that scares me. But for what you have, Hampton, Henderson, Egbuka, you've got the right ones. Loveland, you've got the right ones. So I'm perfectly fine with how it is. I would love to know what the depth looks like elsewhere, like in terms of who your second quarterback is and who your second tight end is, because that is going to matter if who you currently have in their positions are going to cut at week 1. But otherwise, Puka, BTJ, Ridley, you know that those are all top 24 options, if not top 10 at the wide receiver for the first 2. Yeah, pretty solid. Trey Harris going at the, what is this? What round is this? 11th? Not bad. Dylan Sampson, I like that. Alongside of the potential of all those kind of, I mean, yeah, considering RB1 is Swift and RB2 is Caleb Johnson, yeah, you need lottery tickets. So going Dobbins, Bigsby, and Dylan Sampson's appropriate. Okay, let's see here. Pierre says, quarterback roulette. As you stated earlier today, I paired Fields with Drake May, standard. Am I playing matchups each week or starting Fields every week? No, you're playing matchups every week. Absolutely have to play matchups because there are going to be instances in which Fields is not going to have a field day, for lack of a better term, because he's going against Pittsburgh, for example, week 1. And that might be an absolute nightmare for them. So like looking at week 1's matchup, let's see here. Let me open up my strength to schedule list here in terms of quarterback. And let's see how it kind of structures out. So in terms of upcoming schedule for the Jets to begin the season, we got Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Miami. We're going to have a lot of negative game scripts in Buffalo and Tampa Bay. Depending on whether it's home or away is obviously going to make a difference. For New England, I mean, they start off with Las Vegas, Miami. I'd like to go ahead and probably play Drake May against Las Vegas week 1. That's what I'm probably in. And I'd honestly rather play him against Miami week 2 as well. If they're playing down in Miami and they're not in New England and they have to go to the heat of Miami, at that point I would just play Justin Fields week 2. But that's just kind of, oh, am I on the clock? No. That's just like outside looking in as of right now. Again, with the quarterback roulette, you play matchups. That's just the answer to the question. Caden says in the 1.09 in the 12-team league, what's a good strategy? I mean, it depends on the scoring format. It depends how many starting positions are within the league. Like the league that we're playing in here and drafting for today, right here is a 3 wide receiver, 1 flex format. Depending on how it structures out in terms of form, kind of how many starters you get at each position and what the scoring format is, it is going. Oh yeah, you said half PPR, great. So in that specific spot, 1.09 12-team league, I'd be very comfortable like you see how this line, this draft went, where you have Malik Neighbors at the 1.9. I love that. The only thing I would make a change on is I would take running back here at 2.4. That's the only difference I make, because you see how this draft went along. Didn't really get an opportunity at the running back depth that they probably would have wanted. Went with Kittle here, went with Daniels here, so really did punt on the running back chances. Oh, am I on the clock? Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and make a pick here. What do I want to do? I kind of want another running back. I don't know how many seconds I have, but let's just do that for now. Okay, getting back to your question. So yeah, I don't mind the idea of going Neighbors in the first and a running back in the second, and then probably picking up a wide receiver in the third. Like if I can get Higgins here, that's great. If I could pick up, the 4th round potential of a Trevion Henderson there, so you have 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs in that first 4 rounds. I think that's relatively strong. Let me go ahead and go full screen here, just to continue to answer questions before we close out that overall draft. We had a question that came in from Thomas Dabney, who says, I have Chase, keep Jacobs, Ladd, and or Josh Allen. Keep Jacobs, Ladd, or Josh Allen. 6-man PPR. If I'm keeping a player and I already have Chase, I would prefer to keep Jacobs. Thank you. Peter sends in a question, says, been a sub for 6+ years. I won 3 titles. Question below. Thank you, Peter. Says in a 12-team PPR, I have Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Derrick Henry, Genty, Harvey Algier, Marvin Harrison, JSN, Rice, Addison, Ekbuka, Mims, Loveland, Goddard. ESPN projects me last. LOL. How do we feel about the squad? I mean, quarterback, again, I'm probably the foremost confident in Caleb Williams amongst many. So I'm very happy with the Caleb Williams spot there. Again, it may not be immediately week 1 where he is dicing it up and scoring 25 points, but just give it some time. Henry Genty is a great running back combo, along with Harvey as your 3. Perfect. Where you lack, theoretically speaking, is at wide receiver. Now, JSN's a solid wide receiver 1, and Rice is going to be that lottery ticket. If Rice can develop and produce the numbers that we are anticipating, we're talking about the 16 to 17 points per game in a half PPR. You play in a full PPR. That's Rice scoring 20 points a game. If we get that level of Rashee Rice, 17 to 20 points per game, that kind of production is going to kind of flip the script as to what they're currently projecting on. But again, there's so much uncertainty as to what his... Am I really out of focus again? Today, really... Hello. Can this camera focus on your boy or not? Hello? Camera, hello? There we go. Goodness gracious. I don't know what the pissing me off. Sorry about that, guys. The camera wanted to... I got to keep my, my shiny nose and my pretty face in focus for y'all. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so to answer your question, yeah, I think I understand why it's a little bit sketched out. You have 2 wide receivers in Rice and Addison that are going to be facing suspension. And because of that, your projected total team points is a little bit less. So it's not a big deal. Don't really buy into that. Usually when I play with my friends, the team that's projected to be last place oftentimes wins the league. I'm not even joking. That's legitimately what I've seen over the years. National Champ Rush sends in a question, says, who should I take at 8, Henry or Christian McCaffrey? Yeah, I would take Christian McCaffrey. Unless you're playing in a standard league where you get 0 points per reception, McCaffrey is the more valuable of the 2 running backs. What's your thoughts on Brian Robinson going to San Francisco? Will it affect Christian McCaffrey? No, I think it provides you a handcuff that you can draft. That's all it is, because he is just filling in for Isaac Garendo. And what we have seen, when Christian McCaffrey is healthy, nobody else gets touches. So that's how we should function it, because that is what Kyle Shanahan has proven year over year. And we should not anticipate for Brian Robinson to be anything more than a handcuff in this current instance of this iteration of this offense. How do we feel about Godwin not going to the pup? I think that definitely hurts the potential of Ekbuka, but I think Ekbuka's talent is going to be enough to where the slow return of Godwin will present him some opportunity. Darsoholic says, I'm a Patreon member. How do I send a super chat? You don't have to send in a super chat, brother. You just send me a message on Patreon. And if you're not aware how to send me a message on Patreon, for those of you who are Patreon subscribers, there's a little envelope in the top right corner that's called messages. You click on that, and then you can send me a direct message, because again, you can ask me unlimited questions there. Again, really quickly, how long have we been here for? For about an hour and 18. So I'm probably not going to do another draft here. I think we'll just probably answer questions, and we'll call it about an hour and a half into the stream, about 11 minutes away from that. I do appreciate y'all coming through again with the support, as you guys typically do. It's very much so appreciated. So in regards to couple reminders, I wish I knew this. Look, this is the thing. It's funny how, okay, so on Patreon, for those of you who are members, like the first couple posts that I have that are pinned to my page specifically like tell you, hey, go here, and you can ask questions here and all this kind of stuff. Maybe you guys don't read the directions, but I'm glad that I was able to kind of give you the direction there, so now that you know that for sure. But anyway, in regards to that, we've taken care of the Patreon thing. I'm going to answer a couple more questions. Again, if you guys want my rankings, right here, check out Betr. There's a link down in the description. Again, if you guys are eligible based on your current location as to where you live in the United States, you can take advantage of being able to sign up using code Andrew, make that first time deposit minimum of $10. And then, of course, you have to make that first time play. You got to play at least with $1, picking more or less on given player stats within the Betr Picks section. Then once all three of those steps have been completed, you'll be updated onto my email list, and then I can send you that email in terms of my rankings over the course of this month, and then weekly on Sundays for the remainder of the season. Please be sure to check your spam folder, because it has often been there for many of you who are wondering, where is my rankings, Andrew? Thomas Dabney says, can we supposed to be Achane? Can we revisit my question? Let me see where your question was, Mr. Dabney. Says, I have Chase, keep Jacobs, Ladd, or Josh Allen. So when you say it's supposed to be Achane, H is supposed to be Achane. Got it. So you have Jacobs, Ladd, Achane, and Josh Allen. PPR, I would keep Achane. Thank you. Benny G sends in a question. Thank you very much, Benny. I appreciate that, brother. Says, good day from down under. Listen, Benny, I'm not gonna, what you typed in the other day in the comment section was diabolical. Okay, you're hilarious, and that is some ridiculous stuff. Let me tell you, over the years, that is some of the craziest stuff I've ever read in my comment section. But you're quite the funny guy. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, brother. Donating a coffee. Thank you. Ibrahim, what's up, brother? Says, thoughts on Ingram, Knicks stack. Is Ingram top 7? I don't think Ingram is top 7 unless we're talking about a full PPR. As it currently stands, I would prefer to have a lot of other options than Ingram. I can see the potential, but the Ingram issue is touchdowns. Can he score 6 to 7 touchdowns this year? If he can, beautiful. If he can't, we're going to need a lot of receptions to get him into the conversation of being able to compete with the upper echelon of the position. Again, this is an offense that has not functioned with a tight end in the last couple of years. We have seen Joe Lombardi as the OC of the Los Angeles Chargers in 2023. Sorry, no, not even 2023. 2021, 2022. In those 2 years, there was a lot of tight end usage. So we're going to hope that Joe Lombardi and, of course, Sean Payton are going to implement Ingram heavily. But again, I like the stack, but I don't think Ingram is top 7. He could be. It's always within the realm of possibility. Hey, Andrew, can we rate the mock draft? Yeah, I mean, looking at it. Oh, you know what the problem is? I closed my tab. That's my bad. Shoot. In a moment, I'll try to. Let me see if I can reopen that on my end. Let's see. Is it available? Let's see here. Mock drafts completed. Okay, looking at the draft. Yeah, let me throw it back up here real quick. We'll go through it really quickly. I think I ended up auto probably picking the last couple picks here. The auto pick took Herbert. Yeah, that's fine. I don't really care. Okay, so let's pull this real quick. Okay, so we went through the first 3 teams, right? So the only things that we were missing is Barkley, Bowers' team here with Ladd, Harvey, Pollard. I don't like the wide receiver depth here. I'm going to be honest. Jacoby Myers, I mean, Olave's cool, but Jacoby scares the crap out of me as of right now. Jaden Reed does not say, it doesn't like, I don't get the sense of safety with Olave concussions, Jacoby Myers wanting to be out, Jaden Reed averaging 4 targets per game, and Chris Godwin in his ankle. This team, I'm more than happy with. Really happy with how it's constructed. I'll take this team as well. Solid across the board. I would have loved a little bit earlier running back depth. I think 6 wide receivers before your 3rd running back is a little bit too much, especially Luther Burden that early. I mean, if Burden's the next coming of Amon-Ra, then sure, within that Ben Johnson offense. Henry, Jacobs, Lamar, Metcalf, Worthy. I think getting 3 only total wide receivers in a league in which this doesn't make any. Oh, I get it. Never mind. This is the auto draft team, guys. Don't worry about this one. We're going to ignore that. Neighbors, London, Kittle. Again, I probably would have went wide. I probably would have went running back here in the round 3. But if you can live with Swift as your RB1, then more power to you. Amon-Ra, BTJ, Chuba Hubbard, Pacheco, Eckler. Only 3 running backs. We need more. Got to get one more. Kyle Pitts isn't necessary. I mean, at this point, you're probably just trolling at the end, and that's the funny part with the Goff. Yeah, so you're just messing around at the end. You probably auto-picked here. So otherwise, you would have grabbed the running backs. It's fine. In terms of rounds 1 through 7, pretty solid across the board. What else do we have? Nico, Puka, Higgins, Kenneth Walker, Montgomery, Charbonnet, Ray Davis, Ford. Yep, solid with that. I have no issue with that. Njoku, Kyler Murray. Yep. Genty, Chase Brown. Yeah, this one I really like. That first 6 rounds, I mean, again, the thing is, like, it's just a matter of, sometimes it matters who you pick, sometimes it matters the structure of which you build it. There are some structures in which, if I'm, like, the other day, I built a team where I had some terrible RB, I think my RB2 was not looking good. If I can, let me see here. What did I build the other day? Let me see. Maybe it was like 2 or 3 drafts ago. Where am I? No, it's not that one. That one I was better at. Yeah, there's a draft here where... No, it's not this one either. This one's actually a decent draft. Oh, damn, that's a good-ass team. Never mind. Okay, never mind. Continuing on, let me answer a couple more questions, and then we're going to go ahead and head out here. Okay, where are we at here? Took care of Ibrahim. Toe Jams. Hey, Andrew. Okay, we took care of Toe Jams. Thank you. Thank you very much, Oni. Paige, I would answer that question. I just don't know what I mean, my auction league didn't really go as planned, but I think if Tyreek, what do you think of Tyreek Hill this year? Running backs, Henderson, Harvey, Pollard, Montgomery, and Mason. Picked up Braylon Allen as well. Tyreek Hill, I mean, again, would it surprise anybody if he was a top 12 wide receiver? Would it surprise anybody if he finished top 5? I don't think it would surprise me. I think, again, he's an incredibly talented receiver. If he's healthy and Tua is healthy, they have incredible upside. And we're able to get a discount on it. Who are we taking at the pick 4 in a 10-team PPR? In a 10-team PPR, I'm probably going Jefferson or Lamb. Firestone Production says Chase Brown, Kyle Williams, and a 2026 first-round pick for Genty Myers and a 2026 second-round pick. Yeah, sounds good to me. I will take the Genty side of that. I mean, I'm down with the future of Genty's potential. K1 and McBride stack thoughts. Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. I've seen it before, and I think it's solid. The only issue that I have is that McBride has not really been a touchdown monster. So really, you're not getting as much of that kind of stacked value that you want, which is like Lamar and Mark Andrews, 11 receiving touchdowns as a combo last season. That's a more impactful stack, theoretically speaking. But if we're just talking about like best tight end and best quarterback, you're talking about a top 12 quarterback and a top 3 tight end, if not top 2. And he may not even be number 2 in that top 2. All right, guys. Couple more questions here, then we're closing it out. Glad to see we're back, Andrew. Is it bad to stack Josh Allen with James Cook? No, I think it's perfectly fine. If anything, I prefer to stack running backs and quarterbacks that are rushing. So Josh Allen, James Cook, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. I like the idea of stacking Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. I prefer that over like a McBride K1 stack because at least I know I'm getting all of the rushing touchdowns within an offense that is going to be top 5 in that statistic. Ozzy Cole says quarterbacks are Hurts, running backs are Gibbs, Brown, Hampton. Fantastic. Caleb Johnson. Wide receivers are Sutton, McMillan, Golden. Double flex league. Yeah, solid. Fantastic. Luke Farrell says in a full PPR, 1 quarterback league, pick 11 out of 12. Who are 2 guys you like in the top 14 range for the 1-2 combo? Let's go ahead and let me pull up my rankings here in a full PPR just so I can kind of get an idea. You said the top 14. If I'm in your position, I'm in the top 14. If I'm looking double wide receiver, I like the idea of maybe going under the assumption that it falls to me. I like the idea of going like Ashton Genty and BTJ there on the turn. If a double wide receiver proposition falls to where it's Neighbors and BTJ, I'm very comfortable with that as well. But I mean, as of right now, likelihood is in a full PPR that you're going to end up with like a Genty BTJ stack, which I'm very happy with. Lank Dog sends in one of the final questions for today. He says, hey, Andrew, I hope it was a solid draft weekend. All my drafts are this upcoming weekend. I wait until the final weekend to draft. I am not interested in having to hit the waiver wire. I'm far too busy making videos to then have to check waivers. So as of right now, yeah, everything's pushed to this upcoming weekend. It's going to be a very great week. A very busy weekend and a great week up until then, because that weekend is going to be stuffed with drafts. Okay, getting to your question. Lank Dog says, I'm in a 10-team full PPR league of record. Nix, Gibbs, Swift, Mason, Chubb, Benson, Shipley, BTJ London, Tet, Egbuka, Kirk, Njoku, and CHRIS, or CHRS, which I don't know who that is. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. So, in terms of Knicks, top 6 quarterback, Gibbs, top 4 running back. You have Swift, top 24 running back. Mason, top 30 running back. Chubb, functionable for weeks 1 through 4, and maybe beyond that, depending on the Mixon status. But Chubb, again, I think is someone that I'm trying to sell after first week. If Chubb plays well, I'm moving him. Shipley, great. He's a handcuff for the potential of Barkley. BTJ London is incredible. Tet McMillan's great. Egbuka's great. And Njoku's great. I think the biggest question mark for your team is DeAndre Swift. If he comes through and balls out, you're going to be in a really strong position because everybody else is great. Swift is the question mark. Stuart, thank you very much. Says, I think this is at least the 3rd year you have been helping me. Good luck this year. Thank you very much, Stuart. I'm glad to help in anyway. Let's hear Baked. Baked ZD says, trade CeeDee Lamb and Zay Flowers for Achane and Ladd McConkey. Yes, absolutely. Give me Achane and Ladd there. Absolutely. Be very happy with that. All right, guys. I think that's going to cover it for me today. I do appreciate y'all coming through, supporting the channel as you guys continue to do so. I'll be back with another live stream and another video tomorrow. But outside of that, again, for those of you who are members of the Patreon, I'm going to try to go ahead and work on those rankings tonight. Hopefully have them up to date and ready to go by tomorrow. So if you have an upcoming draft here ahead, now that all the cuts and all the transactions that have occurred over the course of the last 24 hours have now taken place, I can go ahead and put together all those rankings. Again, for those of you who want all-encompassing rankings, but not the subscription service of Patreon, of course, you can check out Betr. Again, all that information down below. I've mentioned it in all my videos, so if you need more information regarding that, be sure to go ahead and check that out today to get those weekly rankings for the remainder of the season. Outside of that, again, we're going to go ahead and we're going to play the one and only Double Helix. Enjoy the guitar solo, and have a great rest of your night. I'll see you guys. Peace. So we're gonna do a one of these rare endings. Again, this is a very rare instance, but I'm here. So if anybody somehow, some way stayed after the music and is still in the chat and have a question, I'll answer about 3 more here, and then we're out. But again, this is a very rare ending. Nobody may be here. Everybody may have already left. And there's a chance that even whoever's here doesn't even have a question remaining, but I'm still here. If you've got one, type it in. I'm more than happy to answer it. Joseph, what's up, brother? All right, Joseph, perfect. I'm glad you're here and I see your question. It says, how did I do? In an eighth pick in a 10-team half PPR. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Okay. Quarterback's Lamar, beautiful. Genty, Harvey, Swift, Charbonnet, Tracy. Okay, solid running back depth across the board. Very solid. 3 top 24s, and then the potential of Charbonnet being a top 12 guy in the event in which you have an injury to Kenneth Walker, and then Tracy in a half PPR. I mean, if Scadaboo doesn't show up, man, he could very easily be top 24 as well if he stays healthy all season. You have JJ, you have McConkey, so you have 2 top 12 wide receivers. Ted McMillan, which is top 24. Shakir, who I would probably prefer in a full PPR in comparison to a half. Same thing with Downs, but again, for the cases of depth, solid. You have Warren Kincaid, Bates in the Lions defense. I don't know. The Lions defense had a lot of injuries last year. I think they can have the potential of being a top 12 potential defense, but we know that Jake Bates is a monster. And if they're scoring less touchdowns this year, that means more field goals. And of course, he's been great. So as a whole, pretty solid team. The only thing that really does scare me, it's not really a matter of scare me. I think it's just going to take a couple weeks to figure out who that solid RB2 flex is going to be. Because you've got Harvey, Swift, Charbonnet, and Tracy, and deciding who to play is going to be a matter of someone's got to earn that trust. 87 sends in a question, says, anyway, can I get your rankings without doing the underdog link? So I don't have underdog anymore. That is not something that we do here. It's better. So you may be living in 2024, but the only other way to be able to access rankings outside of Betr would be via Patreon. So you can go ahead and find that in the description. Thank you very much, 87. McCarthy for Bill. What kind of a league is this? Is this a future league? Is it Dynasty? What are we talking about? Keeper? I don't mind that, but it depends. I went Neighbors and Jacobs for my first 2 from 8th pick, half PPR, 10-team league. Yeah, Neighbors and Jacobs. Perfect. Sounds good to me. That's beautiful. Love it. Again, because of the half PPR format, you're able to get that running back a little bit later on. And again, Jacobs is solid. All right, guys, that's going to cover for me. Have a great rest of your night. Peace.